Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I just want to talk a little bit just about kind of what's going on in the market today, answer some questions, talk with you guys a little bit more, just kind of like live free flowing content, a lot of that type of stuff. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I would say definitely just drop those in the, definitely just drop them in the comment section. We'll talk about those, a lot of that type of stuff. Until then, I will probably just be rambling a little bit about my thoughts on the market, where we're kind of at, how things have been going this week, in my opinion, a lot of that type of stuff. So that's what we'll be doing, at least for right now. So let's get started. I need to get my thing loaded up, my screen that I can share. I don't know why words are hard right now, but they are. Okay, let's see. Share screen, crypto bubbles. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about some stuff. I actually need to move this around. Got too many screens going on right now. Alrighty. So yeah, we could see, unfortunately, yet another red day in the crypto market. This week has not been particularly good overall. I haven't been super happy with what we've seen. I think a lot of people were expecting a lot better. And honestly, I think, again and again, I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, but this is usually what happens, right? I mean, people think 2025 is going to be super bullish and we're going to see a bajillion-dollar Bitcoin, all this type of stuff. I think we still will, probably long term, right? But this is the type of stuff that we got to put up with in order to get there. And so actually, we're on SUI right now. Let's actually go take a quick look at Bitcoin, and then we can come back to any other alts. As I mentioned, just put stuff in the comments if you have questions or anything you want to talk about. I kind of have some things that I want to go over today and just kind of talk about, but I do very much appreciate when you guys are kind of interacting and have comments or questions or things like that. Just it makes it a little bit more fun. I release videos all the time where I'm just sitting here talking at the screen with no human interaction. And so, if I want to do that, I just keep making videos. So I would say, yeah, any questions, comments, anything like that, definitely very much appreciated. So let's actually zoom out a little bit to kind of what we saw in 2024. And then we can kind of look closer at what we've seen so far in 2025. So 2024, obviously, we can see starts here. And then actually, let me do a horizontal, or sorry, excuse me, a vertical line, just so we can kind of get like a snapshot. So here's where it starts. And then obviously, here is where it ends. So, I mean, kind of in a nutshell, or in a vacuum, I guess I should say, really, really nice 2024, right? I mean, we started here at, what was this, like 40, yeah, we opened at 44K, closed at, what was that, 94K. So, over a 2x, really, really nice move on the year. But if you look, very importantly, there's really kind of only 2 points. Like you could have essentially been sleeping and left crypto except for this point. And let's just call it this point. Like, what was this? Probably like, yeah, end of January to like the middle of March. This is like a 45-day time period here. If we have a thing that shows this. So we have here, yeah, so right here. So 50 days. And then here, it was about 102 days. So less than half of the year is kind of when basically all of the gains were made. And even really kind of more than, because we look here bottom to top, this is probably, what is this, 38 to like 73. So that's a 2x right there. And then even right here, this is like 52 to 108, another 2x right here. So if you would have just played, here to here, sold everything, here to here, sold everything, you would have basically, what is that, quadrupled your money on the year. Obviously, none of us have a crystal ball, so that's never going to happen. Just like, I mean, if it does, you're very, very lucky or really, really good, and you should teach me how to trade. But overall, what we can see is like most of the year, I mean, see going down actually right here, not really moving a whole lot. This was a downward trend that we were in for months at a time. I mean, technically, we didn't really even break out of it until like the end of September. We were just kind of still sitting in this range. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff where most of this, about 6 months, probably even actually longer than that, 6 to 7 months, we were kind of doing a whole bunch of nothing. Obviously, this was a fantastic run. And even if we kind of count out some of this part where we slowed down a little bit, like these moves were pretty fast and pretty violent to the upside. And the rest of the year, just kind of a whole lot of nothing going on, right? And so if we kind of flash forward into 2025, we can see kind of something similar, right? I mean, we're kind of not really doing anything. We started the year opened at 93.5, and we are currently at 96.4. So, about $3,000. That's about 2% gain on the year so far. We've actually been down on the year at multiple different points. So, not particularly great news. But if we look, that's kind of how the last year looked up until about the end of January. Now, obviously, we're out of the end of January, and things actually kind of have gotten worse now that we've kind of come out of the end of January. But that's kind of what we're looking at least for right now, right? And so there is essentially all this to say, like, there is that point where once we flip, it's probably going to flip pretty quickly, and it'll be a pretty violent move to the upside. So, of course, there is some of these options where we go over this in the videos all the time, right? But like maybe we see 150, maybe we only see like 120-ish, maybe we see like 160, 170. Hard to say for absolutely certain, but this is kind of what we can see on the Bitcoin chart. When it moves quick. And then it spends a lot of time basically trying to bore people out of the market. And then when they eventually sell or forget or capitulate or whatever, then that's when we start to see the moves again. And so I think what we're seeing right here is exactly like that. I mean, we basically stayed from like 70s to like, we'll say 50s, all for like 6 or 8 months, just kind of ranging in and out, slowly actually on a descending channel. We're not really in a descending channel even right now. We could even say that this is sort of kind of an ascending channel, so even potentially better than what we had for the majority of 2024. Now, I mean, that's just what we have to keep in mind, right? I mean, this is boring. This is trying to shake people out. If you guys are ever interested in how the market's feeling, just go take a look at my YouTube comment section. I've seen a lot of whining. I've seen a ton of whining right up here. And like, it's probably equivalent, if not more, than the whining that we saw here when we were almost half the price, which is just wild to me. It still doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense, but that's what we got, right? And so, that's how things are looking. This is, I think, kind of all by design. We're going to be bouncing around in this range, shaking people out every step of the way, and that's just going to be kind of how it goes. So let's see. Welcome. It's good. I don't think you've been on a live stream before, so it's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm really, really happy to have you on the stream. Ahmed as well. Let's see. High price impact 99% when I try to trade my coin. Could you explain a bit how to get out of this situation, please? Will sub. High price impact 99% when I trade my coin. Could you explain a bit? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Maybe clarify your question, Ahmed, and I'm more than happy to answer it. I really do. I appreciate kind of talking to you guys and having this be more of an interactive stream. So as I've said, if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, thoughts on the market, things like that, just go ahead, drop them in. Nick, you're in Houston as well. It sounds like there's a party in Houston. We'll have to go back, or we'll have to have a Houston party or something at some point. Yeah, Luis he's got the hashtag number 570Ray because he's my 57th subscriber. So Luis has been here. He's been committed, and he's been a really, really like great person to kind of just stay with me through all of it ever since the very, very beginning. So really, really appreciate you, Luis. Thanks for tuning in. So, okay, we'll kind of get back to talking a little about what we're seeing out of Bitcoin. Maybe we'll even move over to Ethereum. If you obviously, if I have other questions coming in, then maybe I'll get a little bit derailed. Let's see. Occasional. Let's see. I'm patiently waiting for the explosion to the upside. You and me both. Obviously, I'd love to see that happen, but overall, I think the market structure, in my opinion, looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing in the market so far. So, all I can do is keep the faith in kind of what we've seen before, right? I mean, we saw 6-7 months of just kind of absolute nothing. Again, though, remember staying above the previous highs, or the previous highs from like this bounce that we saw kind of, or I guess prior to this bounce, right? I mean, we never actually broke below the highest high that we saw prior to this run up to the downside. So if that were to follow, I mean, we technically, I think there's a lot of people who are calling that, like, if we kind of break below like 89, 90, maybe even 85, we're officially out of the bull market. I think that that's probably somewhat fair to say. However, if we look at kind of what we've seen historically, we could technically come back all the way down to about 73, 74, and then come all the way back up to the upside, because we would not have broken kind of the previous like pre-breakout high, right? So just something to consider there. Let's see. I know this is way out there, but what do you think about Toshi? Yeah, so you asked me this in my comment section. I think a couple of days ago, but yeah, I'll talk about it on stream. Happy to do that. So I actually met the Toshi guy, the guy who, like, he didn't found Toshi because apparently somebody like created it and then rugged it, and he kind of did like a CTO type of situation on Toshi. So I actually met him at ETH Denver last year. So I'm probably going to be at ETH Denver again, maybe this year. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't totally decided yet. But yeah, that's where I met him. He's a really cool guy. You know, he's telling me all about it. This is when Base was still very, very like, it's a very, very new thing. And so it was kind of cool to talk to him, hear about, you know, how he's trying to build this new meme coin on this new chain that's sponsored by Coinbase, all this different type of stuff. Man, oh man, if I would have just bought Base when he told me to buy Base like last year, I actually, when you mentioned it in the comments, Luis, I was talking about, or I went to check to see like if I would have just bought in when he told me about it, what I would have been up. And I think I looked and it would have been like 10 or 20x. So meh. Oh, wow. Kind of a rip there, but it is what it is. Let's see. Okay. Ahmed. Okay. Perfect. I bought a coin called No Tax on Crypto today morning, and then it went up a bit. And then whenever I try to sell, get a high price impact, 99% notification, and then return the trade is nothing. Okay, so probably what you've got going on here, I am not familiar with that coin. There's one of two things that probably could have happened here. So one, if it's a 99% price impact, you could have potentially bought a rug, and they essentially like they unlock the liquidity pool and drain the liquidity pool. That has happened and that can happen. If you're new to this, it's a possibility. If it's like a pump.fund coin, then that's probably not the case, because I think pump.fund makes it so you can't actually do that. And then the other thing is probably what you're doing is you need to bump up your slippage, because slippage, particularly when you're trading micro caps, like, you know, 0.5% or something on Bitcoin. Like if I'm going to be going and buying Bitcoin and I want to go put, you know, $1,000, like the slippage on Bitcoin is basically going to be zero. And slippage essentially means like the amount of price impact that you directly have, because you have to remember that everything's a market, right? There's a buy side and there's a sell side. And so how a market works is, you know, I may be willing to sell one Bitcoin at 90,000, and somebody else is willing to sell one Bitcoin at 92,000. Somebody else is willing to sell one Bitcoin at 95,000. Somebody else is willing to sell at 98,000. The next person at 100,000, right? So if I come in as a buyer, what we can see is that I have and I want 5 Bitcoins, right? The price of Bitcoin, if you were to look at a chart today, is 90,000. But since I want to buy 5 Bitcoin, there's only 5 Bitcoin between here 90 and 100, then essentially my like slippage is going to be about 11%, right? Because I'm going to be buying the 90, 92, 95, 98, and $100,000 Bitcoin, and price will immediately jump up to $100,000 because I just went and swept all 5 of those Bitcoins, right? So that's essentially how slippage works with with high liquidity markets, like something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, basically anything like within the top 10, your slippage is going to be almost negligible unless you're coming in with like hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I don't ever come into a trade with $100 million plus dollars, so slippage is basically a non-issue. However, if you get into a micro cap coin and you're thinking, you know, something with like $10,000 market cap, $100,000 market cap, whatever, you know, the smaller, the more impactful it can get. But you only have let's say $100 or $5,000 of liquidity, and you want to drop $5,000 into this coin, you are essentially going to be buying all of the liquidity all of the liquidity that exists on the market. So if you do that, then you're essentially, you're going to be buying the coin way, way up, and you're going to be paying more than like, you know, the $1 that you might be paying per coin. You might not actually be paying $1 per coin. You might be paying, you know, $1 for this chunk of coins and $2 for this chunk of coins and $5 for this chunk of coins, because that's where the liquidity pool sits. And so that's essentially kind of how that works from a very high level. Ahmed, go maybe go check that out and look a little bit closer. So hopefully that should give you an explanation. But yeah, generally when you're trading in super, super tiny coins, you need to check the liquidity, one, to see how much liquidity there is to sell against. And two, usually, well, I guess I'll say three things. Two, you usually need to raise your slippage tolerance anyway. When I trade micro cap coins, I usually am doing anywhere between like 8 to 10% slippage. And then also three, just sell in smaller chunks. So if you've got, you know, let's say 1 million coins total and you want to get rid of all of them, don't just sell a clip of 1 million coins. Maybe sell 50,000 here, 100,000 there, 20,000 here, 100,000 there, 50,000 there. That will also impact or reduce the impact of your selling on the chart, which also people will love you for, because particularly if you go and, you know, nuke a chart, then people don't usually like you for that. So anyway, hopefully that explanation helped. Let's see. Oh, Luis and Nick having a good conversation. That's good. Let's see. Should be caught how to convince you to never work offshore. Yeah, I was actually just down on the Texas coast a couple weeks ago. Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went and saw the Starship launch down at South Padre Island in Boca Chica, near like Brownsville, Texas, basically. That was super cool. Would highly recommend if any of you guys are into crypto. I'd imagine there's a decent contingent of you that are interested in space and all that type of stuff. I think it was really cool. Highly recommend. Let's see. Edward, let's see. ICP keeps getting better as price drops. Syrup is a great deal too. Real good bankers behind it. 12 cents. Interesting. I have not heard of Syrup. I'll have to check on that and see what is that, Edward, is that within like the ICP ecosystem, or maybe give me a little bit more context on what Syrup is, and anybody else that's watching / listening can hear about it as well. Yeah, no, you're very welcome, Ahmed. Happy to help always. Just if you have any other questions, let me know. Let's see. Sorry. No, happy to have any side chats you want. I mean, overall, like I said, you know, I do these primarily just to have human interaction. Usually, you know, if I want to watch if I want to create a video where I'm talking to myself, I don't need to do I don't need to do a live stream for that. I can just go make a video. So I definitely appreciate all the commentary and banter and all that type of stuff. Questions, of course, as well. You know, all that stuff is greatly appreciated. So perfect. Yeah, definitely gonna attend. You really should. Honestly, it's pretty impressive. I've watched all of them, like from the live stream and stuff. Really cool. If I was better at technology, I would like load up some of the pictures I have from going down to South Padre. It was really cool. Like you can get super close to the rocket. It's really, really interesting. So anyway, oh yes, I did mention Toshi. I'll give you the TLDR. Basically, so I met the Toshi founder at ETH Denver last year. This is when Base was kind of like this whole like newfangled thing. And I did a little bit of like, he was trying to convince me, you got to buy Toshi, get into it. I did, we did a CTO, the guy rugged it, but now we're taking it back, all this type of stuff. And I looked into it. If I would have just bought, like I looked at the exact, because I remember when I was in East Denver, of course. And I remember like when we were talking about it. And if I would have just bought Toshi when he told me to buy Toshi, I think I would be up like 20 or 30x. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it feels a little bit bad on that one. But yeah, I mean, definitely it's a meme coin, right? I mean, to me, meme coins are they're little bits of some like dark arts, right? I mean, it's really about who has the deepest pockets, who can get behind the strongest narratives, the strongest coins. Toshi and Roshi, or I don't know, Mochi, maybe something like that. Both of them are like Brian Armstrong's dogs or something. I think that's kind of what the meme is based behind. So like, it's a decent meme given that like it is the base chain, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, overall, I definitely have I've got no ill will or negative thoughts towards towards Toshi. I think it's perfectly fine. I usually don't do too much with meme coins, just generally. And to be honest, you probably don't want me to be doing too much with any meme coins that you're investing in, at least, because my track record with meme coins has kind of been hilariously bad. So, there's a couple here and there that like I've seen and I figured they would do well, and they did do well. But usually I'm just pretty greedy when it comes to meme coins, if I'm being completely honest. I'll I want to see the 10, 50, 100,000x, stuff like that. I don't really care about the 3, 4, 5x. But realistically, I have actually called enough like pretty strong memes that if I would have just taken, the 3 to 5x 5 or 10 different times, I probably would have gotten there by way of just accumulation. But what do you do? So anyway, yeah, ouch is correct. Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. There was another one also that people were trying to get me into. It was actually an airdrop. It was the DGen airdrop. People were trying to get me to get into Farcaster and use that and all that type of stuff. And I did for a little bit. I don't know. It was like Farcaster is just such an echo chamber because it's just all like base native people talking about base. Most of them are like ETH maxis. They've got like some hardcore, like, the hardcore thoughts on just how, that ETH is going to take over the world and base is going to be the one running it. And, all this type of stuff, which more power to them. I respect the conviction, but it's just something that I don't know. It just felt too echo chambery for me. Like even like X is like, it's echo chambery enough. And that has like far more diversity, if you can believe it, than what something like Farcaster has. So maybe it's changed. I haven't actually really been on Farcaster too much recently, but that's just been something that I've kind of been thinking about or kind of looking at over, like, I don't know, past a couple of weeks or something. I was thinking like, well, maybe I should come back onto Farcaster. I don't know. It's something that I haven't really had too much of a desire to do. Oh yeah, no, you're welcome. Thank you for the super chat, Luis. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, I put approx 5K recently, maybe another 5K again soon. Yeah, I mean, honestly, so I put a decent chunk into just the base ecosystem. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I put out this morning talking about like the 10x like the 10x coin, or like I think the name of the video is like I expect to make 10x or something like this. It was like the top 5 coins that I was buying on base. And since this is on a live stream and it's not like, it's probably not going to be as circulated or as seen by as many people, I probably can tell you like more of the things that I bought. It's just like I said, that I usually try to be very, very careful with a lot of the like the micro small cap stuff, just because I do get the sense that there's a lot of people who watch my videos that really don't understand truly the like risk with some of these micro caps. So I'm happy to talk about them on stream just because probably not as many people will watch this. But yeah, so one of the like biggest buys that I did on I think it was Monday. Is I put a bunch of money into just the base ecosystem generally, partially because of kind of what you're getting at here, Luis, which is like Toshi, I think will do very well. Brett, I think will do very well. I think DGen will do very well in terms of like memes within the base ecosystem. I think base, if we see the altcoin season that many of us are imagining, I do think that a lot of it will be on base, just because they've got access to Coinbase. Obviously, US crypto coins are in vogue now, after what seems like forever of them being kind of out of it. So that that's obviously really good. I went and bought virtuals. This is the first time I bought virtuals. I just opened my position into virtuals. One of the ones that I did not mention on the video that I did is I actually put a decent bit into game as well. Actually, here, let me go load up. Let me just go load up the CoinGecko. Oh, here's a little sneak peek as well. This is my most searched thing on CoinGecko. So, do with that what you will. Okay. So yeah. So these are basically the 5 things that I ended up getting. But I have a bunch of different things that I watch in my portfolio. Again, several of them very, very micro cap-y type things. So I probably won't scroll through. Again, this is your benefit, I guess, for tuning into the live stream. You can see some things that I don't typically talk about on the channel. So yeah, you can see virtuals here. This is a big one. I thought about getting into a Kosh. A Kosh is one that's done actually quite well. That's pulled back a decent chunk. Helium's pulled back a massive chunk. I already hold a decent chunk of Helium though, so I didn't do too much with that one. Dog's another one. This is a meme coin on Bitcoin that I have belief that will do well. Again, nobody knows for sure, but I do think we will see Bitcoin's time in the sun, and we haven't really seen that yet. Some of these are Dino coins from last cycle that I'm still bag holding. Big L, but whatever. And some of these, like, just to be clear, I don't actually own like probably the majority of these. This is just a lot of like what I'm trying to keep an eye on just between like different verticals. Proppy's one. I know people talk a lot about Ondo. Proppy, in my opinion, is similar to Ondo, but at like a very tiny fraction of the market cap. Again, more risk, more reward. So there is much higher risk that this does nothing or goes to zero, but there's also a lot higher reward if it hits Ondo type prices, right? So anyway, that said, tangents aside, this game by Virtuals is one that I actually ended up going into. If you look at the chart, it's gotten absolutely clobbered recently. It hit tops of almost $400 million in market cap. Now actually back down at 43. So almost down 90%. You can see 81% in the past 30 days. Some of you may be like, what the heck are you doing? That's crazy. Sounds to me like you like to buy loser coins, which for those of you who disagree with ICP, maybe that's fair. But I don't actually look at it this way, right? We talked about this in the video as well when we were looking at, I believe it was Sui. It was the second video I released today, where we talked about like this stuff happens constantly. Like things go down 60, 70, 80, 90% and then go proceed to 10x. I'm not saying that's common, but like I think that like game is one that is like very much like a picks and shovels types of play. If Virtuals is successful, game is going to be very successful. So naturally for position sizing, I ended up putting more money into Virtuals, but I did put a decent chunk into game just because, again, higher risk, higher reward type of play. I think Virtuals, if I remember correctly, is like just shy of $1 billion, and this is like a 20th of that, right? So if we go back up, we can see right here, yeah, 843 million. So a much, much higher like risk to reward type of play. So let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty high class. I try to use the flowery words because it makes me sound smart or something. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I just saw something on here which gave me flashbacks. Maybe I'll tell this story later about I've been telling you guys about my amazing luck with memes, right? So we'll come back to that if you guys care. We can talk. Just mention it in the chat. Nick, I'm hoping Dog does well after a few more listings, threw a bit in that coin. Yeah, so I actually got the airdrop from holding like the runestone because I was super, super early in ordinals. So I actually haven't bought any Dog. I just have, I think it's like 1 million of them or something just from like the airdrop. So I'm hoping it does well. There's no reason that it shouldn't in my mind. Like there's just absolutely no logical reason why Bitcoin, like a Bitcoin ecosystem, should not do very well. Again, the market is not always logical, right? So I'm not going to say that like if it doesn't happen that the market's dumb. Like obviously the market's always right. What I'm just trying to say is like if we don't see something like that, I will be pretty surprised because just building on Bitcoin to me seems just kind of intuitive. That's why I'm a huge supporter of ICP is because they've unlocked that ability. And so if my narrative of Bitcoin is the way, which I think we're seeing very clearly, I mean, look at how clobbered altcoins are getting. Like, yeah, cryptos or like Bitcoin's down a little bit too, but altcoins are getting absolutely blasted. And so I think it's pretty fair to say that like the narrative is here is that everything begins and ends with Bitcoin. And so if that's true, why would people not very, very highly value things built on Bitcoin? Again, if any of you guys disagree with kind of my logic here, I would love to hear any counterpoints that you have. But essentially, like that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? And obviously now Bitcoin can't really do most of what people would want it to do. And so with that being said, we need another way for that to happen, right? And so that's why I'm super bullish on ICP, is because ICP can facilitate a lot of that. We've seen a couple like protocols on Bitcoin, like Runes, for example, that like kind of try to do it, but like Bitcoin just doesn't have smart contract capability. So it's all kind of bad, to be completely honest. And so that's something that, you know, I'm feeling pretty bullish about overall, is just kind of the Bitcoin ecosystem, building on Bitcoin. How is Bitcoin going to like kind of mature? A lot of that type of stuff. And so I'm essentially kind of formulating many of my investment decisions around that, while still trying to be somewhat diversified. You know, I would say Base is one of those that is very kind of diversified from that whole building on Bitcoin kind of meta or mantra. I hold a decent bit of Solana for that same reason. I think Solana's semi-insulated from that kind of, but yeah. So let's see. Almost can't, yeah, for real. I mean, at $200 million, like the biggest meme coin on Bitcoin being at $200 million is kind of wild, right? So I definitely think like the risk reward, and as I talk about ad nauseum, the risk reward is everything that I'm looking at, right? I want to be like, you know, this much risk to this much reward. And I want to just see the like asymmetric plays on either side of that. And so if it's there, I'm going to take a spin and, you know, see how it goes. And so, you know, building on Bitcoin, meme coins on Bitcoin, Bitcoin ecosystem type plays, a lot of that type of stuff to me is relatively low risk, incredibly high reward. So that's why I've been putting a bunch of effort toward there. Let's see, Jason K Telcoin. Let me go look at Telcoin. Let's see, totally great. Number one on Bitcoin. So logic. Yeah. I mean, and to be completely honest, I freaking hate dog is like a meme. I think it is the stupidest meme you could have possibly come up with. Yeah, it just makes no sense. And actually, let me go back to my to like the Bitcoin ecosystem chart on CoinGecko, and I'll go over several that I think are so much better than dog. It's just such a forced meme. It's really dumb. I don't know. You guys can disagree with me. I know that there's like a very strong community behind dog and whatnot. I just think it's super dumb. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. So what we can see is like, yeah, obviously the largest by a wide margin. Already kind of became somewhat similar to a meme coin. I think it still kind of is considered that. Bitcoin Wizards, this one's kind of, you know, just kind of the whole meme behind like the Bitcoin Wizards. This is like the magical internet money. This is like one of the oldest crypto memes. Bitcoin Wizards is good. Pups, I don't know if you guys have seen Bitcoin puppets, but they're like really, really big. And they were kind of like, and maybe even still are, everything's just down so horrendous, but they're kind of like the crypto punks of like the Bitcoin ecosystem. These are ones that they ran up to like half a Bitcoin at their height. This is one where like I was actually in the, like, they did like a they did an auction, but like the site crashed because the tech was terrible and all that type of stuff. And like I tried to get like 5 or 6 of them at mint, which is free. And then I still hate myself for it because they like the price immediately like shot up to a couple $100. And I was like so stubborn because I was like, I'm not paying $100 for this because I could have just gotten it for free. And then they ran up to like 40 or 50 grand. I was like, all right, well, whatever. So this is another one. This is probably no, dog is my largest holding because I was given it for free in the airdrop. $1 Billion Cat is probably my largest holding that I've actually bought into within Runes, just because that to me is like, this is a relatively good meme. It makes sense. If you look, it's the cat. You can't really see it super well, but it's a cat, but like it's the Bitcoin glasses for eyes. Like that to me, that's kind of funny. That makes sense. Like I think that kind of people get it. They resonate with all that type of stuff. Track is one I'm a big fan of. What else we got? Yeah, I think that's most. I got some really, really micro cap ones, but oh yeah, Psycho Hamster. Psycho Hamster is pretty funny. Some of the stuff on that's kind of unhinged. Bitcoin Bro Bear, that one's one I have. These are all. I mean, you can see the Bitcoin ecosystem is down absolutely horrendous right now. So I would say this is like, it's a very, very dangerous place to be currently. And honestly, like I know I'm in it currently, but if I'm giving an unbiased like opinion, again, not financial advice, you need to make your own decision, all that type of stuff. I'm not even sure that I would be putting too much money into the Bitcoin ecosystem right now until we get a little bit more clarity, just because things are getting absolutely destroyed on Bitcoin. And so it's like a very, very high risk place to be. Obviously, the rewards will be ridiculous if it ends up working out, but this is not one of those like this type of risk for this type of reward. It's probably like this type of risk for this type of reward. So not necessarily like the greatest situation there. So let's see. What do you look for when you're trying to find low risk, high reward coins? A couple of different things. I'll show you another one again. Yeah, there's not too many. Like, I don't think that many people are going to watch this live stream. So I'll show you some things that I'm otherwise a little bit worried to talk about on just like my normal channel, just because again, I don't think people truly understand the risk. So if any of you here watching and listening on how to find, the low, low risk, high reward type plays, it is still high risk. I mean, low risk relative to the reward, right? That's not to say that it's low risk. It's just like, it's really more, it's like ridiculously high risk, even more ridiculously high reward is kind of how I would look at that, not low risk. But if we go down here, there's this one, Winner Protocol. So again, this is something that's on, this is on the like Ethereum ecosystem. It's based on Arbitrum. I dumped a decent chunk of this during the pullback the other day, because as you can see, it actually took a pretty strong move to the downside recently. It's a gambling platform. We can see, Rollbit. What was the other one? It was Rollbit, and it was, I don't know. You guys know the ones I'm talking about, but like there's so many gambling platforms, and this is like, those are all just like front ends, right? This is essentially like the ecosystem to build the gambling platform. And so obviously it's down pretty hard since then, but this thing is like really cool because it will pay you out yield. I think they do a 50% profit split. So 50% of the money that this casino ends up making, you get paid out as a staker. I love that type of stuff because it's passive income, right? If this protocol continues to make money, which is obviously the goal in crypto, then you're going to be a beneficiary of it. So that's the reason why I like it. Again, incredibly high risk. I mean, it's less than $10 million market cap. You have to understand that. I cannot understate just how high risk some of this is. But the reasoning here is like, okay, so what happens based on, because this is now getting back to like more traditional investing type of stuff, right? How do you value it? Well, discounted cash flows. So if it makes, $100 a month on $1,000, that's a 10% return a month. That's a really, really nice return for anything really, because you're looking at over 100% annualized. That to me is relatively low risk, because the amount of like yield that I'm going to be making should over the course of time pay for the coin that I have. And regardless, short of like the Just Bet platform, that's like their front end, but anybody can make their own gambling front end on this. Short of those platforms shutting down, this will always make me money forever. It may not make me money at the rate I thought it might have initially, but it will always make me money forever. I think that's cool. That's obviously, something that's very interesting to me. And so that's how I, in my opinion, find like a low risk, high reward type of coin. Same type of thing here. We talked about Game a little bit earlier on in the stream. I would say that this is low-ish risk, because this is like essentially the protocol that's run by the Virtuals team, right? So if the Virtuals protocol does well, which we've seen it do very, very well so far, it's expanding out into Solana. It's had a lot of like product market fit, a lot of adoption, a lot of that type of stuff. If that continues to happen, people are going to be wanting a way to build on the Virtuals ecosystem, right? And their whole thing is you can use whatever AI methodology you want, but they have their own if you want to do like a low code or like easy version. So this is very much like a picks and shovels type of play. If you think like AI, right? Well, you could go build an AI model, or you could be NVIDIA and you could just make all of the things that anybody who wants to build an AI model has to use. So this to me is kind of like a picks and shovels type of play. If the Virtuals protocol really takes off, which again, my kind of like base thesis for this is I wanted exposure to base more than anything. And so I bought a little bit of like Virtuals itself, and then I bought a little bit of Game, because again, I was wanting exposure there. And so this is again like picks and shovels, higher risk than just buying the Virtuals protocol itself, because there is a world in which the virtualist protocol can succeed, but game fails. I think it's unlikely, but it's definitely a very possible outcome. And so this is, of course, a higher risk because of that, but it's higher reward because it's like 1/20th the market cap. So, you know, that's another one that I would say is kind of asymmetric in nature. What else we got here? This Unagi token, the coin market cap's kind of messed up on this one. But the Unagi token here is one because, again, I want exposure to Base. This is one that's built on Base. I don't know why it's still showing Ethereum, but it's on Base. They actually have NFTs called personas. I actually have some personas that, like, my staking gets me Unagi tokens and stuff like that. So, you know, this is another one that's very kind of, you can see fully diluted 38 million. So pretty small-ish overall, particularly for gaming tokens that can very routinely run to $100+ million market caps. This, to me, I think is a relatively safe play, assuming we get some sort of one rotation into alts, and then Base, I would think, would be a beneficiary of that. And then if we catch any sort of game narrative, again, the only contingency here is that we probably do need to catch some level of game narrative for us to see this type of run. But again, that's another one. What else we got? Index is another one. I think this is kind of low risk, high reward. $5 or $15 million current market cap, 22 million fully diluted. Same type of thing. It's making index funds for crypto. If you don't want to be picking particular winners or losers, what do? Buy an index. Well, where do you get them? Well, I don't know. Index cooperative, right? So that's kind of like that to me, the narrative seems to make sense. And also, like, I think there's going to be a really, really strong, like, need and value for this as we kind of move along. Maybe we can go over a couple others. We'll see. There's a couple in here that, like, yeah, here's one. Actually, I don't know if I really want, I guess I can talk about it. This is one that I've been holding for like 6 months. So again, I own this one. Not financial advice, full disclosure, all that type of fun stuff. But I've been owning this one for like months now, like over a year. Well, yeah, no months, probably like April or May, because I actually got in when it was, like the 3 or 4 cents down here. So it had to have been like last March, but I got in. So like I've done very, very well on this coin. I only put in, I don't know, a handful of dollars. It hasn't turned, it's not like I'm, sitting on millions here, but it's done very, very well for me. But the thing that's kind of wild about this one is it's kind of changed and like grown over time. But when I actually try to use their site, because apparently their site's like actually really useful, but every time I try to use it, I get like malware warnings. So I've never actually used it. And that's part of the reason I feel kind of weird talking about it, is because there are I do still get malware warnings, but the price, as you can see, has done incredibly well. So this is one that, like, it's only 6 million. We've seen the power of AI tokens. This is it started out as like an AI analysis type of token. So it was basically like a trading view coach type of person, but it's now also kind of evolved into, like, I think they have like volume boosters and they have some other stuff, maybe like DEX, like maybe like a trading bot and like DEX stuff, things like that, a whole bunch of random stuff. But as you can see, it's only 6 million. This is one that I do realistically think could do very, very well if it catches a bid. It's just if/when it does, who knows. But yeah, it's done very, very well. So that's kind of a lot of like what I would say as far as like low risk. Oh, actually, we'll talk about ICP. This one's very, very large in market cap. But if you look at what's actually going on, like, I would say, I'm not going to rehash it. Let's see. Oh yeah, see you later, Nick. Sorry, I probably missed this. This came in a couple minutes ago. But going back to let's see. Going back to Internet Computer, one of the things that with this one is, like, I would just refer you back to my most recent video. That one I think has done really well, it's done very well just in terms of like being on YouTube. But I also like explain a lot of like some of the fundamental news related items that I think make ICP such like a fundamentally bullish play, despite the like poor price prediction that we have seen, or the poor price action, I guess I should say, that we've seen recently. So overall, that's kind of what we've seen here, kind of going on within the market. I do still think we have a point in time where altcoins will come back. We will see an altcoin run. I'm very optimistic that we see that, but again, who knows for sure. I think right now, if you just look at, again, I'll kind of come back to this just because we talked about this towards the beginning of the stream, and I know that there's probably a lot of new people here, but we talked about this at the beginning of the stream where, it kind of nothing happens for a long time, and then it kind of just all happens at once, right? Same type of thing here. We saw basically what is like more than double of the gains that we saw cumulatively the entire year happen in the span of like 5 months total. So, it's like just under half of the year, but it makes like you basically bottom to top, you would have made like 4x. So, this is something where I'm still very bullish what we're seeing, right? You run, accumulation, run, accumulation, run. We can even go back here and see something similar. Accumulation, well, I guess accumulation, run, accumulation, drop, run, accumulation, run, accumulation, accumulation, run, accumulation, run. It's very, very easy to see. We could go back and do this all day on the chart. But so anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. I'm very happy with kind of how things are looking overall, just within the crypto market. So anyway, I'm probably going to wrap it up here in a couple minutes. If you guys have any like last minute questions that you want me to talk about or answer or address specifically, I'd say drop them in. Otherwise, I'll probably go ahead and wrap it up here in a couple of minutes. Until then, though, I would say the biggest things that like I'm looking out for over the next handful of days is going to be seeing something where and actually I probably should just bring the chart back. We really shouldn't be dropping below this support zone, and I don't expect to see any sustained move above this like resistance zone, right? I mean, it's pretty clear to see over the past several months that that's kind of what we've seen. We have seen some breaks here and there, but if you look, they're all wicks. And I do look at the daily just because I feel like daily gives us a good sense of what we're seeing here, but it's basically just all wicks. So until we see a sustained move up or down kind of outside of these zones, that's what we're looking for. And then, I do think we need to see Bitcoin top, but realistically, we need to see Bitcoin top and like actually make gains that people are even remotely excited by, because that's usually what brings other people in, right? I mean, if you go to one of your friends and like, oh yeah, I just made 5x on SUI yesterday, they're like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. Like maybe I should go and get in, right? But the problem is nobody knows SUI. And so, but you can think about something like that where it's like, oh, I made 25% on my coin the other day. I'm like, I don't care. No one really cares about 25%, right? So that's the thing, is like we need to see some gains off of Bitcoin, but they also need to be like cool, right? I mean, going up and breaking above 100,000 is cool, but that's kind of more of just like a newsworthy event, like not like, oh my gosh, these guys have made so much money, it's crazy. So that's, I think, kind of what we're looking for. Happy Go Lucky, you have a question? Oh, yes. Yeah. Answer the question. Happy Go Lucky. And yes, Jason, I completely forgot about Telcoin. Let's do it. Let me see. I don't actually know. I'm trading on, I do all my charting on BTCC. Plug, got that in the description if you guys are looking for a place to trade. Probably should have mentioned that like 20 minutes ago, but that's fine. I don't see Telcoin on there, so I'm going to go and do Trading View because I'm sure it's going to be on there. If it's not, then that means it's way, way small. Okay, yeah, Telcoin. Yeah, what's up? How's it going? I'm calling it Stein. I'm calling you Stein RR, or is it just Steiner? I don't know. Maybe correct me in the chat. But yeah, happy go lucky. I will. I see your question. I will answer that in a second. I just want to get to Telcoin first, and then we'll kind of go from there. All righty. So let's see what we got on Telcoin. Oh wow. Okay, so it's already seen a nice move, and this happened. Oh, it happened in the last. Okay, it happened in the last bull run, so that kind of doesn't really count. Pretty nice move though in the ag. So yeah, this looks about right. Okay, well, now that we've established kind of where it can go, yeah, so it's down probably, oh, wow, is that like 99%? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so let's go take a look at Telcoin, and we'll see what we can find. I don't actually even know what it does. So this will maybe give you guys a little bit of kind of a quick quick and dirty analysis of how I kind of look into a coin. So first thing I'm going to look at, market cap, 540 million. decent, not huge, not small. We can see the contract address was updated, so we'll probably have to look into why or what was going on there. So we can see volume is actually ridiculously low for the market cap. Fully diluted is more than the market cap, but not by too much. So that means that the circulating supply, which we see here, is pretty reasonable. So that's good. Let's see. I just got to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Okay, cool. Yep, no, we're good. So telco.in. All right. Telco.in, send money smarter. Blah, blah, blah. Mobile phone. Okay, so is this kind of like a Cash App type of thing? Telcoin remittances. Go for 2% or less in total fees. Digital wallet access. Yeah, okay, so let's see. EVM. I'm trying to figure out kind of what it is. Basically, I think I've got a pretty decent idea of what it does, what it is. What we need to see, though, is like, how does the wallet work? So, yeah, it looks kind of like a Cash App type situation here. Digital asset supported, USD, wrap Bitcoin. Yep, okay. I think that all looks pretty good. Let's talk about digital. Oh, yeah, these are just, okay. Okay. So they actually have a decent chunk that's supported. So you can send a fair few things through here. So this just kind of looks like a wallet that they charge you money to send stuff through, which is kind of odd because that's kind of just crypto generally, right? Like I don't get the point, I guess is kind of my main question here. Like, is there some sort of like payments infrastructure that they're hooked up to? Yeah, since 200 CAD from Canada to the Philippines. Okay, sure. Cash out with Gcash. Okay, so they do have kind of payment on and off ramping. So that would make sense as to why you would use that, because you want the payment on and off ramping. Yeah. So I'll say this. Jason, kind of about Telcoin and what we're looking at here. The same problem I have with Telcoin, I have with XRP. Now, some of you may be like, "Wait, what? No, that's not Telegram's coin. That's Toncoin is Telegram's coin. This is some unrelated coin." But the problem I have with Telcoin is effectively the problem I have with XRP, which their idea for what they want to do makes sense. Like it does objectively make sense in my opinion. The only problem, or the thing that doesn't make sense about it, is I feel like there's better options in the market already. Like we'll pick on ICP, or not ICP, XRP right now. Specifically, it's like, why would you buy XRP to then go send XRP to then, like, so essentially you're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to turn my fiat into XRP. I'm gonna have to turn my XR or send my XRP, and then I could turn my XRP back into fiat on the other, like on the back end of things, right? That's generally how crypto works, just kind of wholesale today. Yeah, that makes sense. But the problem is like stable coins exist, right? So why wouldn't I just like send stable coins from like my wallet to somebody else's? Like I just don't understand why we need a special ecosystem and why we need a special coin to do this. And this is kind of the part of the thing that sucks a little bit about crypto, right? Is because I think solving payments is one of the biggest things that can be addressed right now. And there's a lot of people trying to solve it. But the problem is I think the people who are solving it the best are the people that we actually really can't get too much exposure to from like an upside, and that's stable coins, right? Obviously you can't go speculate in stable coins and have stable coins 1000x and have them remain stable coins. They would inherently be unstable coins at that point. And I think that's why the allure of XRP draws so many people in, is because it's kind of like that, but there's a way to speculate on it and try and get upside on a very big problem that people understand is trying to be solved within crypto. So from my understanding, that's kind of what we're seeing here with Telcoin. Again, you saw the totality of everything that I know about Telcoin, you just watch me uncover. The only difference is I do this kind of like a lot, and I've been doing this for years. So I can pretty quickly get a decent understanding of kind of, at least I think, a decent understanding of what they're trying to do. And so for me, that's the only issue here, is I don't really understand why like why would I use, because ultimately the question here is, well, why would I use this over just sending stable coins? And unless I can get a compelling answer as to why, I don't really think it's a compelling investment. So that's kind of my thoughts on that, Jason. If you have any, like, it sounds like you probably have a lot more vested interest, or maybe you know a lot more about this. So if you have some answers to those questions, I would love to hear it. But that's kind of just my overall perspective of what we've seen so far. So let's see, catching K live stream. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Let's see, happy go like, okay, perfect. What is your BTC top target? In my opinion, Miss Moses. I kind of did already go over it a little bit, but I can, I think everybody likes Bitcoin. We can go over it a little bit in more detail here. But my top target is, in my opinion, between like 160 and 180 is kind of my guess. I am trying to do fib retracements right here and do fib extensions. I think that's what I did. Let me just double check this to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So I think this, this is what I've done. Let me share my screen and you can kind of see. I'm gonna have to mess with a lot of this, but we'll get through it. Okay. So Bitcoin top target. This is what I've done. We've taken the local high. Actually, I haven't even taken the local high. Here's the local high, and then we can take the local low, which is right here. Okay. So now this is kind of what I'm looking at for like fib extensions, right? Kind of the 1618 range, provided we even return and break previous all-time highs. 120 is kind of like that low level range. 140 is kind of like that mid-level range, and 160 is kind of that higher level range. Now, this is obviously an incredibly simplistic way to do it. I've not kind of based my conviction completely on this chart that we've seen, but I've seen a lot of other people do increasing and varying different analyses on what they expect their Bitcoin number or their Bitcoin tops to be. General consensus, at least from what I've seen, is between like the 150 to 170 mark, which would indicate kind of this 3618 to 4236. I personally think that there's a possibility that could be a little too bullish, maybe. So I kind of like to kind of hedge my bets a little bit and stick more at this like 2618 at 140. But also I kind of think like 120 is the safe play. So realistically, like I think kind of how I'm looking to play this is we'll see, one, if we even get a breakout. Two, if we do get a breakout, what kind of movement do we see here? I'm hoping it's past 120, but we don't know for sure. I mean, given the magnitude of what we saw on this break, it's possible, that we get past 120. But if we don't, that's kind of like the first stopping point, I would say. The second one is going to be up here at this 140. And then if things look really good, then I think maybe up to this 160 to maybe 170. I think for us to get up to this level, though, we'd have to have kind of like a full on like global scramble to get into Bitcoin, because everybody's doing strategic reserves and stuff like that. So I think that's what we need to see a lot of. There's a lot of even like, the stock to flow, I think is showing that like Bitcoin, if it were to pass kind of like that stock to flow number, it need to hit like 300,000 or something. I personally don't think there's any way that we hit $300,000 Bitcoin by the end of this cycle, but I would love to be wrong. That is something that I would be completely okay being wrong about. I just don't think that that's a realistic thing. I think this will be the first time that we actually see Bitcoin unsuccessfully attempt to cross the like stock to flow line. So anyway, that's kind of what we're seeing there. Anya, thank you so much for answering about poor chicken. Just trying to gain knowledge, but really happy to help. Always happy to answer any questions that you guys have. That's why I do kind of really appreciate and enjoy doing these live streams, is just to give some of you guys some time to answer some of these questions and talk about some of these things that I might just be kind of missing in my videos. That's one of the most difficult things about making these just YouTube videos in general, is when I say things, I'm just expecting that you all know what I mean, right? And I could be completely wrong with that expectation. And so that's one of the reasons I really do like doing live streams, is because I can see that, I can see that you guys are, I can get more context and like, what do you know? What don't you know? What do you have more questions about? Did I explain something well? Did I explain it terribly? A lot of that type of stuff. So let's see. It's Steiner. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, no, you're totally welcome, Jason. Happy to, happy to help. You know, I consider and if you ask people who've been in crypto for a while, I think a lot of them refer to it similarly, which is, you know, I've been in the crypto game for a while. I've learned a lot of expensive lessons. I've paid plenty of tuition to the school of crypto, and so if I can help give you guys a scholarship, so to speak, in keeping with the references here, you know, I'm happy to do it. And ultimately, you know, you guys need to make your own decisions. And there's some things that I might be wrong about, right? But there are certain things that I've just kind of figured out over the years that hopefully, hopefully kind of help you out. So let's see. We got 2025, not ICP's year. I don't know. I would like to say that it is, but I mean, so realistically, I am prepared to wait until next cycle. Like that's my kind of expectation. If we see something different, that would be awesome. But I'm prepared to be holding for quite a while. And I'm comfortable with that just because the fundamentals of the project and what's going on in ICP are so good. And like honestly, one of the most bullish things to me about ICP currently is the fact that other people are starting to take notice. I don't care about price going up. I don't care about normies caring about ICP like that. None of that really matters to me. What really matters to me is like people like Charles Hoskinson or I'm blanking the guy's name currently, but like the guy at HBAR, like those types of people taking note and being like, oh yeah, we're trying to compete to like unlock liquidity on Bitcoin. This is what we need to do it. Right. Like the fact that there's a lot of people, I'm assuming somewhat independently coming to that same conclusion, that to me is hugely promising news. And so that's why I'm such a bull on ICP, even though the price has been objectively terrible. Like I'm not going to sit here and defend ICP's price movement. I mean, it's bad. It's straight up. But that doesn't change the fact that it could be a good project, right? And so that's kind of what I'm looking toward in the further future is that hopefully we see something hopefully cool there here in the near future. ICP and XRP are sexy projects. Yeah, I know we have this disagreement, Luis. I'm not a huge fan of XRP. Obviously, I love ICP, huge ICP fan. But kind of like I was talking about when we were talking about Telcoin, I just don't. I can't understand why you would use XRP over stablecoins. And that's ultimately like realistically what my main, well, I guess I have a second gripe too. But that's like that I would say is the core of my gripe is like, why should I use XRP over stablecoins? And I just don't know that I found like a particularly like compelling answer for that is one. And then two, unfortunately, I think XRP kind of preys on some of the like more retail audience because I just don't think people understand market cap particularly well. I could be completely wrong. Maybe that's super pretentious of me to say. And I'm okay. I'm okay to accept that if that is the case. But like, let's just go pull up XRP right now and we'll just take a quick look. Because I mean, I would love, like, as I mentioned, like in a lot of videos and basically every single live stream that I do, I just like crypto and I want crypto to succeed. If ICP or, XRP or whatever, fart coin, whatever, if that's going to be the one that makes crypto succeed, then fantastic. By all means, I'm a supporter. But the thing that I have a little bit of a complaint with XRP is, first off, we've got 137, almost $140 billion market cap. You're trying to tell me that XRP is more valuable than Solana? Come on. Like, maybe, but come on, right? And then it gets even worse because not only is it 137 billion of market cap, but it's 238 billion fully diluted. Now, I know that they've got a lot of ability to kind of have control over when and how that gets diluted. So that I do think like that's definitely a benefit there. But like, come on, I don't know. Maybe I'm just up in the night somewhere, but I have a super hard time believing that one, it's more valuable than Solana, and two, it's like over half the value of Ethereum. Like, for what? I still don't get it. Like I said, I think when XRP came out in 2014 or whenever it did, it was an amazing idea. I think XRP is objectively a good idea. Same thing with Telcoin. objectively good projects. The problem is the world's moved on kind of without them, right? We have these little things called USDT and USDC. I don't love USDT because I wish they would actually provide clarity into like their reserves and stuff. So USDT is potentially a little scary. And ultimately, like if we have another crypto meltdown, it wouldn't be entirely surprising to me if it's caused by like the capitulation of USDT or something like that. Again, that is just pure FUD. I don't actually know anything about USDT, and I think that's exactly the problem, right? Nobody knows. But like I just don't understand like why I would use XRP to transact over just using USDC. If somebody can give me a good answer to that, I would love that. So maybe if you guys have that, let's see it. Future's bright. Yeah, dude, I'm so bullish on ICP. Like obviously I try and make videos and I try and make them sound like exciting and cool and stuff because that's like what gets people to watch and click and do all that type of stuff. I hate playing the YouTube game, but it's a game that you have to play, unfortunately. But yeah, like the last video that I was talking about ICP, I was like genuinely very excited because I was like, I don't know how this doesn't work out. I mean, it might not, right? And maybe it'll be for some reason that I still don't understand yet. But like, I was genuinely very excited for ICP. Let's see. XRP doesn't look like it can go more higher than $5. Yeah, I think that's fair. It would not surprise me if XRP hits $5. There is a delusionally strong community with XRP, and honestly, more power to them. I'm not trying to hate on XRP at all. I'm just saying for me, it doesn't make any sense. But if it goes to $5, like fantastic. And to be honest, I do leverage trade XRP now and again, just because if there's money to be made, I'll make money. I don't care. But yeah, I think from like a fundamental long-term perspective, looking at XRP, I just don't really get it. So let's see. Not at all. That's why this new yeah, I mean, I try to do what I can, to kind of help spread the knowledge that I have, and also just like put in some time to like, research some stuff. This is like kind of an off tangent, but I actually got an editor for my videos. You may have noticed the quality of the editing has gone up substantially recently. That's been really nice because it's given me some more time to like actually think about the content and actually think about like the channel and just making more like better videos, because I'm not like having to like come up with a video and then record the video and edit the video and post the video and do the SEO and all this different, like there's so many things that go into like having an attempt at running like a somewhat successful YouTube channel that it's like, now that I've kind of started to take some of that off my plate, I can I can run back and start to try and focus on making higher quality content. So unfortunately some of that comes with me having to do sponsored videos and things like that, which I don't totally love, but I still try to kind of couch that with the fact that I will only take sponsored videos that I really like feel pretty good about. There are some, you wouldn't believe some of the deals that I get. Like I might do a YouTube video just hating on how shady the crypto like influencer industry is. I got a video, maybe this is TLDR and you guys don't care, but I got like an offer to do a video for some hydrogen thing. And like, they were like, so anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to give you $5,000 and then you can like pull it out and then you can like put it back in to like essentially prove to my audience that like they're not going to get scammed, even though they've given me all this fake money. Because I did like some research on it and it clearly looked like you like deposit your money, but then you can't get it back out. Right. But they're like explaining to me how to do all this type of stuff. And I'm like, there's people making videos on how to do this and scamming their audiences, which pisses me off. But, the best I can do is just say no, and move on and hopefully only like take sponsored videos for companies that are actually like trying to, do something worthwhile. Cause that was the other question I had too. Was like, okay, well, so how do people make money? And they're like, well, they just invest and it goes up. And I was like, okay, well, how do you lose money? Well, you can't. I was like, okay, well, so then you're a scam. If you can't lose money, you're not investing in an investment, you're investing in a Ponzi scheme. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent there. Let's see. Can you look at XLM2 even though you probably don't like it over stable coins? Yeah, I'll look at XLM. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are probably going to hold similar. Is yeah, I just don't get it, and that's all. It's like it's not to say that any of these are bad ideas. It's just why would I use it over a stable coin? Because the other thing too that we need to realize about stablecoins is stablecoins are wildly profitable. Those are like the only thing in crypto that make just an absolutely stupid amount of money. Because effectively, how stablecoins work is you go mint a stable. So like I could make my own stablecoin, right? And what I would do is tomorrow I would go to the Fed and I would say, "Hi Fed, I would like to buy $1,000 of like 3-month treasuries, right? 3-month treasuries are going to pay me 3 or 4%. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to collect this 3 or 4%. And then I'm going to go issue CUSD, right? KUS dollars. And now you guys can come buy my CUSD and you can feel comfortable knowing that my CUSD is backed by like actual real dollars. But I'm just sitting here earning all the interest while you guys are like using my fake dollars for me, right? So stablecoins are wildly profitable and they're incredibly huge business. Like I work with several like different crypto companies trying to do various different things, and like all of them are trying to implement a stablecoin solution just because it makes so much money and it's easy money. It's like free money. So yeah, I mean, I have a really hard time seeing how stablecoins get outcompeted by some of these other types of things. So anyway, yeah. So the only thing with like, actually here, let me share my screen. I realized I was not doing that. Let's see. Cross-border payments, asset tokenization, on and off ramps, aid disbursement, meh, DeFi, meh. I mean, like DeFi, I think we can already see things doing better. Aid disbursements could be good because it's kind of like a trackable way to like make sure there's not like, fraudulent, like, I'm not qualifying for aid disbursements, or I don't know, something like, if I'm qualifying for aid disbursements in Ghana, that's probably you've got a bad system there. Asset tokenization, everybody's trying to do asset tokenization. Asset tokenization is going to be huge. The only thing I don't like about asset tokenization, in my opinion, is I think we're going to see asset tokenization almost completely gate kept by banks and VCs, which I hate, but like that's kind of why I haven't even bought into Ondo yet, is mainly just because I'm salty at the complete, like the total RWA sector of crypto. I'm kind of just salty at, because I think personally that all of the good gains and use case and all of that type of stuff is going to come from inside banks, private blockchains, a lot of that type of stuff, which is super lame, but it just is what it is. Yeah, cross-border payments, don't understand why I would use that. But yeah, I mean, some of the other stuff that it's doing, I think kind of makes sense. But I think a lot of people are just, they're kind of bidding on this because they don't really know. You just don't really know. And that's totally fine. Like, and maybe I don't really know, right? Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. I'm totally happy to accept that. XRP sucks. Look at the speed and usage. Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what it boils down to, is like, I'm not going to hate on XRP people. Like I said, I just want crypto to win, but I don't understand. I just don't understand it. That's all. Because Ripple fiddles with liquidity. You can't. Yeah, I mean, kind of, right? I mean, if we go back to like the fully diluted market cap, like, and to be fair, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, right? I mean, people are in XRP to make money, and if they have complete control of when their token unlocks happen, it's a lot easier to make money that way. It's not in the spirit of crypto, realistically, but I mean, people are here to make money, so you can't hate on it. Fast and cheap, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I'm not sure if that's in reference to XRP or XLM or USDC, USDT, any of that type of stuff. How do you keep track of your general cost of a coin throughout DCAs well enough to know where to start taking profits? I've been DCAing down on coins, but what percent increase do I take small profits? That's a good question. I feel like you really can't do that with DeFi wallets. Like centralized wallets usually have like a pretty good like cost basis going on. Typically, what's a good way to explain this? I feel like typically the way that I will do this type of thing is a couple of different ways. One, Excel spreadsheet works great. DBank is another one where I don't know if they track your cost basis like for you. I think you may have to put it in, but I also don't use DBank that much, so they may have updated that. But mainly what I'm kind of looking at is like I look at it more in coins, especially when you're like trying to like range trade stuff. So for example, that AI coin, that like Orbit coin that I talked about earlier on in the stream, what I was doing is this was actually the first time I've actually done this, and I was kind of just doing it as an experiment. I didn't really care what happened to the price. It's just so happened that the price has done very well. But what I was doing is I was only looking at it in that coin, right? So I was like, I want to accumulate as much of this particular coin as I can. And that's, and that's what my goal is. So whenever it goes up, I'll sell some. Whenever it comes down, I'll buy more. And theoretically through that process, I should have more coins than when I started. So that's kind of the process that I kind of went through with that one. As far as like, if you're trying to go all the way in and then all the way out, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do that kind of over time. But what I would say is like, it just depends on what you're looking for, right? Because you can look at, a couple of different ways of how you want to do this, right? You can kind of segment what you do. So like if we're looking at XRP, just I guess because we're looking at it right now, like let's say you bought some here at like 58 cents and then you sell some here and then you buy some here. Like obviously your average is going up, but as long as you're tracking like the majority of your profits here, then that's great. But also like an Excel sheet to kind of track your average cost is pretty good. Let's see. USDC hasn't rubbed out. But kind of. I mean, they're basically backed by Coinbase from what I understand. And like Brian Armstrong's been, but yeah, I understand. Like that's a lot of the reason that both XLM, Cardano, XRP, all of these have gone really high is because there's a ton of speculation. And that's part of why I don't like them. It's just because it's purely speculation. It's been nothing really, it's just been nothing really like tangible, right? So let's see. Yeah, people use programs and trackers to keep it up to date. Even if you look at something like XRP, right? Like if I wanted to add a transaction in here, say I spent $100 in XRP at $2 a coin, then I bought 1,000 XRP. Okay, well now my cost base is going to be 10 cents, right? So now I can add a transaction, and you can see my holdings value is now $2,400, even though I only put $100 into XRP, because that's what my average net cost was. So now if we go and we put another $100, hopefully this is helpful. Steiner, if like I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, just let me know. But like we'll say, I'll only buy 100 XRP. So now my price is $1 and I bought it at the same time. We'll add the transaction. We can see my holdings went up, but now my average cost went up, right? And so now let's say I've got 1,100 XRP. I want to sell it all at $3, I guess. Or no, sorry, we'll do max XRP. And we'll just use market actually. Boom, there we go. And now we're good, right? You can see my total P&L on XRP is $2,400 because of those few different things. Sorry. I'm really, really good at not sharing my screen when I want to be sharing my screen. Son of a gun. Now I'm gonna have to redo it all. Okay. Yeah, we'll speed run it. So you can see I did do something. You just couldn't see it. Okay. Total spent $100. We're gonna be buying 1,000 XRP. I'm basically just gonna completely copy what I just did. Add transaction. You can see my holdings is $2,400 because that's what the fair market value of my 1,000 XRP is. My average, oh no, is this? All right, I may have to go and like clear this out. Son of a gun. I think I can do it too. I don't know. I'm going to have to go fight with this because I don't actually know how to do it. So let's go back to this and we're just going to pick a different coin because I don't want to fight with XRP right now. Let's do XLM because that was the last one we talked about. Actually, no, we're going to do Polkadot. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Let's see. Perfect. No, it's Steiner. There's no reason to be sorry. This is just me being an idiot. So not to worry at all. Okay, but yeah, so this is basically how you can track your basis, right? So let's say I want to put $100 into Polygon, or not Polygon, Polkadot. Jesus, getting late. And let's say, actually, no, I want to, my 100 USD bought me 50 Polkadot. Jeez, okay. So that's $2 per coin. So we'll add transaction. We can see here my holdings is actually worth $230 instead of $100 because my average net cost is $2, but the like actual price is $4, right? So now let's say I want to go buy another 50 dot at $3. So that's going to be 150 bucks. Let me see, add a transaction here. So now I've essentially averaged up, right? And now you can see I've got 100 dot. My average cost is 250, and here's my net profit just based on what I've seen there. Now let's say I want to average down. So we'll go buy another 50 dot. Actually, we'll go 100 dot just to kind of keep the doubling thing going on. But now we're going to do a price of 125. So I bought double at half the price. And now you can see my average cost has gone down to 188, right? So now if I'm like, oh, wow, it's $4.72. I'm going to sell because I've made a whole bunch of money. I'm going to sell my max dot at current market price. Boom. I now no longer have any dot. And here's my realized profit on my like whole Polkadot trade. So Steiner, that's how you do that. This is one of the ways. Again, of course, this is manual. There might be some that are a little bit more like automated than this, but this is a way that you can do that, and you can just track basically your whole portfolio from within CoinGecko. So hopefully that was helpful. Ethereum's fees are ridiculously high. Yeah, Ethereum's a hard one because Ethereum's great, but also Ethereum has a ton of problems that I think the layer 2s are trying to solve. But the layer 2s are creating their own problems by fragmenting all their liquidity. Like, why would you go to Base and then have to trade to Arbitrum and then have to trade to Optimism and then have to trade to Polkadot and then have to trade? Like, it's just such a problem. And so Polygon, to their defense, is trying to like come up with a solution to this in the way of, what are they calling it? The ag layer. They're trying to like come up with a solution to this. And I think if they do come up with a solution to the fracturing liquidity in Ethereum, the race is on. I think that will be absolutely massive for just the Ethereum ecosystem as a whole. But again, how that happens, when that happens, a lot of that type of stuff kind of remains to be seen. Yeah, Ethereum's fees are insane. Like I spent $2 to sign a transaction yesterday to like, I think just to prove that, or to like approve spending. I was like, come on, man. Like, I go to like Solana or BNB or Base or literally anything else, and it's like pennies. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, Luis. I mean, everybody, different strokes for different folks. There are other, I mean, XRP has been probably like, again, profit matters, right? I'm over here telling you, espousing the benefits of ICP and how amazing it is. And I'm telling you that I don't like XRP, right? But like, look at the price performance between the two. And it's pretty clear to say which one has done better this cycle, right? Now, it can be for whatever reason we want it to be. It doesn't matter. What matters at the end of the day is what price has done. And so obviously, of course, I'm still not wavering in my conviction of ICP, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say you've been brainwashed. I mean, I'd be very, very careful long-term, I guess is all I would say. Are you able to do a video on deramping, cheapest way for cheaper fees without moving to Dubai? Yeah, I mean, if the fees you're referring to are taxes, I'm not sure that I can help you there. It's just is what it is. Unfortunately, the only thing I can say is just make sure you hold stuff longer than a year, and then you get long-term capital gains instead of short-term capital gains. Again, at least with how the tax code's written currently. I'm here just hoping that the president will at some point say no taxes on crypto, because that would be super nice. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, maybe expand a little bit more on what you mean here, Jason, and I'm happy to kind of go further into that. That makes a lot of sense. It does seem like a hard time adding altcoins per transaction since I bought so much already through 8. Yeah, that's the thing is like I kind of I wouldn't say I'm as high frequency of a trader as I used to be just because I found that got me in trouble. But yes, getting it to the point where you're at currently could be a little bit of a challenge, right? But what I've actually started doing, just because I think it makes a little bit more sense, but I've started like spreading my wallets just so it helps me track kind of some things a little bit better, right? So like if I want to see how I do in like Solana meme coins, right? I'm not going to play that as part of my overall wallet just because for me, then it's, it's like, well, how did you do? Did you make money? Did you lose money? If you get rugged on all your memes, but Solana doubles, you might look like you came out net neutral, which of course you did not, right? So what I've started doing is like, maybe I'll just spin up another wallet and have it be like my Solana meme wallet. And then I'll go send, $1,000 or whatever I want to like spend to like learn Solana memes, most likely lose it all. And then we'll kind of go from there. So that's kind of what we're looking at there, with kind of how I kind of view tracking cost basis, stuff like that. That's kind of what I do. Usually I'm like right now I'm kind of in more of like the hold phase. If things go down, like we see a crash like we did yesterday, or I guess a couple days ago at this point, maybe I'll buy more. If we see things go up, I'm probably selling. And then we'll, if we get to the point where it's like full on alt season, then it's going to be, kind of some recurring selling going on. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we got. That's the most of the questions that we've seen in the comment section. Yeah, so that's kind of mostly what I've got for you guys today. I don't know if there's a whole bunch else. Oh, I will say, we got a couple extra questions coming in, but while we have some of these extra questions coming in, like I said, I'm probably gonna be wrapping up here pretty soon. Last call for questions. I know I said that like 20 minutes ago too, but I know that I do want to try and answer any questions you guys have. While we're waiting for some of these last call questions, I do have that link in the description to BTCC. If you are interested, I feel like this is probably a halfway decent time for a shameless plug. I've been doing this for over an hour, so probably should get this in here. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are wanting to trade, spot, leverage, whatever, they have kind of pretty good flexibility in terms of like what they can allow. Obviously, they're throwing a pretty decent chunk of money at you if you are interested in getting signed up. I've used BTCC. It's good. I like, as you can see, like most of my charting is done on it. I haven't been trading too much recently just because I've been trying to stay away from just leverage generally. So you'll see that like, my leverage trading, I don't have like many positions open or anything like that. But yeah, overall it's a pretty good place. I mean, realistic, I really like the fact that they've got these special bonuses. Some of these they just kind of say, oh yeah, use our link and help us get more users. I'm like, yeah, well, that's cool, but like, what are you going to give them? And they're like, oh, nothing. Okay, well, then no. So yeah, that's why I do like BTCC, because they do have a lot of that type of stuff. Let's see. I got a handful of questions coming in. So, i.e. transferring from a cold storage wallet back to exchange to cash out, tangent fees to withdrawal are high. Yeah, so I think Tangent is that cold storage wallet, right? Let me just Google that real quick. Okay, yeah. So what I would say is when I cash out, I go to like, I would go to like a Coinbase, Crypto.com, Kraken, something like that. Those, in my opinion, are going to be where you get the best fees. If you use an on-ramping or an off-ramping service, you're going to get absolutely crushed. I mean, yeah, Tangent, MoonPay, there's a couple other of them that are going around there. MoonPay is kind of like the biggest one, but I mean, they wreck you. I never, ever buy anything on MoonPay just because the fees are exorbitant. I will always go through like a Coinbase or a Crypto.com. The only time I'll ever use anything is like if I want to put some money in like a wallet to, let's say, for example, I've done this dumb decision several times before, but like, let's just say I send 1,000 USDC to a wallet. and I don't like, there's no ETH. I obviously can't do anything in there because there's no ETH, and because you need ETH for gas. I'll sometimes use MoonPay to like just seed some ETH in there because I'm too lazy to move all the other stuff, because I'm happy to pay those fees. But yeah, if I'm ever trying to move any money or like any amount in size, always through an exchange. So make separate bags in different categories, kind of, and then keep them in track individually, makes them more trackable. Yeah. So for example, like when I open my base exposure bag, right? Like I created a wallet that is dedicated to base, and I bought all the things that I was wanting to buy on base, right? So like I bought virtuals. I still have some in ETH, I think, just because I want to keep some liquidity in case we continue to go further down. But like, yeah, I bought virtuals, I bought game, I bought Unagi, I bought a persona, which is the like thing that Unagi comes from. I might buy maybe Brett. Brett feels like it's too big though, so maybe I'll buy Toshi. I don't know, Luis. You've kind of inspired me. Maybe I'll buy some Toshi. Aerodrome is something that I would consider as well. But overall, just trying to have some liquidity there in case I find something that kind of piques my interest. Let's see, Sublime Spirit recordings, the thoughts in virtuals and AI agents. Yeah, I mean, I'm super big on all of these. I think crypto is kind of made for AI agents. So I do think we're going to see a ton of just, also narratives are powerful. People get AI agents, people get AI. I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. I've got a lot of different AI projects that I'm keeping a very close eye on. As I just mentioned, I did buy both virtuals and the game coin within the virtuals ecosystem because, or like on this pullback, just because I think they're all like I said, I think games down like almost 90%, virtuals is down like 80%. Really, really nice pullbacks. Of course, they could continue to go down, but I don't really believe that. I think people are being way too emotional right now. So we'll see. Could be right, could be wrong. But yeah, I am interested in virtuals. Definitely looking close to that. Do you have a Discord group or something that I or others can join? This is another good question. So I haven't gotten one yet. I am considering strongly getting a Discord server up. The reason I haven't yet is because, well, one, I don't have a lot of time. And so I kind of felt a little bit weird about like having like a paid Discord or anything that like people can get into, because I don't really have the time. Right. But I also don't want to make a free Discord because I have a couple like influencer friends that like also do YouTube, and they've told me several that like they tried to do free Discords and it's just an absolute disaster. Like, because it's free, anybody can get in. And so it basically just becomes like a bot fest and a spam farm, and people get phished and hacked, and there's Kate O'Neill's everywhere asking people to send them $1,000 because they need money or what. Like it's just a disaster. So I won't do a free thing. But if I want to do something paid, I want it to at least be like valuable. Right. And so that's kind of where I've been. But now that I've gotten this editor and I've kind of had some time to open up and kind of add just some more value overall to like hopefully increasing the quality and the value that I provide on the channel, I think at some point here in the near-ish future, I will probably have like a Discord or something like that where we can kind of get people together. So I know it's not financial advice. Where should I put 25K? I'm not going to tell you that. We've been over a lot of different things of where I've been looking and kind of what I have personally bought. You can kind of make your own decision there. I will give kind of some best practices or some guides. Let's see. Yeah, according to Kate is about to. Yeah. Well, so I probably shouldn't even say this. Yeah, I'm actually not even going to say it because I do not want people to get confused here. Yeah, I try, for reasons, I try to be more careful than others in terms of like how I construe things. I'll actually be there, so it's entirely possible that potentially we could get Tyler doing it through the live stream, which would be very entertaining. So yeah, maybe I'll see if I can. I'll see if we can get him to do that. Yeah, and I'm not choking Steiner. I'm just saying I have reasons why I should not be doing this, and I should be very careful as to making sure that I'm not providing financial advice. So, but basically what I would say is just kind of a general framework of how I would look at spending my own money is I usually look at like some level of position sizing. So I want people to see, or I want myself to see like, okay, you know, if I'm going into the base ecosystem, what feels like a reasonably diversified amount to kind of have within the base ecosystem? X percentage of my total portfolio. Okay, great. Well, if I have X amount to spend and I want to allocate X percentage to this ecosystem, that's what I'm going to put. So that's usually how I look at that type of stuff. And I usually like, because another thing that people can get a little bit tripped up on, and this is something that I kind of alluded to earlier on in the stream, is you need to be very careful in how, like, that you're not fake diversified, right? Because if I'm diversifying, but I have it in Ethereum and Arbitrum and Optimism and Polygon and Base, like I'm not really diversified, right? Because essentially what my investment relies on is Ethereum working out. If Solana wins, I'm basically sunk, right? I mean, there's not really much that I can do there from like a portfolio perspective. So you kind of have to like kind of zoom out big picture and think about, okay, well, what are some big narratives that I think are going to happen this cycle? I'll throw out a couple that like I have kind of in my mind that I've mentioned, right? I think building on Bitcoin is going to be big. That's probably like my heaviest allocated position is kind of the building on Bitcoin narrative. That doesn't mean I put one thing, like I put all my money into one thing, but there are probably a handful or maybe a little bit more of projects that are all kind of tangentially predicated around like, this is like, these should do well if building on Bitcoin or like unlocking Bitcoin's, you know, liquidity, a lot of that type of stuff, if that becomes a real thing, right? So that's kind of what I've been, you know, you need to make sure that you don't go too far in that direction. So in my particular situation, I'm kind of expecting that, right? But kind of as a counterpoint, I have things in like DPIN that has nothing to do with building up Bitcoin on chain. I have things in AI. Depending on what I buy, that could be, right? But something like virtuals or the base ecosystem, none of that really relies on me putting or like having any like building Bitcoin on chain, right? Building Bitcoin on chain could completely fail and base could do really, really well. Solana is kind of its own thing, right? You know, if ETH fails and Solana wins, then great. If Solana fails, then I've got base, or, you know, something like that. Like I'm well diversified, but I'm not buying a whole bunch of different projects that all do the same thing. Because if you buy a whole bunch of different projects that all do the same thing, if that narrative fails, then you're kind of hosed. So just something to think about. Okay, 50-50 ICP and Toshi. I mean, if I had to pick two, I don't know that Toshi would be one, but ICP would be one. Yeah. So let's see, 100% an ICP 8-year stake. At least if you're wrong, at least you get drip. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the 8-year stake. I love it. Okay. Wouldn't you logically go per ecosystem and then filter per market caps and purposes? That's how I did, at least. If any coin goes, I will at least be part of a % increase somewhere. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Ecosystems, though, as I kind of like was alluding to when I was explaining, and maybe I wasn't being particularly clear, but ecosystems kind of like, that's not mutually exclusive, right? I could be on like build like let's pick an ecosystem. I could be on like layer 2s, and like that's not really diversified. Even though you could be picking different layer 2s, you're kind of built on the same thing. Something like RWA, I suppose. RWA, like that's diversified across ecosystems, meaning like layer 1s, but it's still concentrated in a sense. I guess maybe I'm getting a little bit confusing with that, but hopefully that kind of what I'm getting at makes sense. But I would say 100% how you're looking at it, it does make sense to me. Go, you know, look kind of per ecosystem, but just make sure that like there's not one like fail point in your ecosystem, right? Because if you're going by per ecosystem, and that means RWA, DPIN, AI, whatever, and all of that's on Solana, and Solana fails, well then while you appeared diversified on the top end, you really weren't, because you had the same failure point at every single one of them. So just something to consider there. Hopefully that made sense and I wasn't being a little bit confusing with that. I felt like I may have gotten lost in the sauce. Let's see, true dad. um, when do you think caffeine AI comes out? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Um, it, it seems like we got some. I was expecting like an actual real announcement from the ICP team. I'm thinking about applying for a job, guys. If this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out, I might go. I might go apply for marketing at ICP because I'm an accountant and I'm pretty sure that I could do a better job marketing at ICP or at Dfinity because their tech is just so good, but like nobody knows about it. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't. Doesn't make any sort of sense to me. But you know that's kind of just, that's what we're working with. So yeah. As for when Caffeine AI comes out, I have no idea. We did see kind of like what I was getting to before I meandered onto something different. What I was getting to with caffeine though is it looks like we got some sneak peeks added at at like Davos, whatever you call it. Um, they again, you know, I was expecting like an actual whole like, hey, look, we've got a caffeine AI demo. It's so cool. And no, it's like some guy or girl recording on their iPhone. I don't even know if it was like approved for them to record it, but like that's what we get for our caffeine preview. Like that, if that's not ICP, I don't know what is. So anyway, just kind of funny there. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that's this is I was like planning to kind of be done in an hour and it's now an hour and 42 minutes. So I don't know. I'm kind of having fun. I could be done, but do you guys have any other questions? I guess if you guys have other questions, I'll keep going. But if things slow down, I'll probably just end it here. Don't want to overstay my welcome, you know. Yeah, thanks for yeah, no welcome or no problem, Signer. Geez, my maybe I need to be done. I'm tripping over my words. Don't know what I'm saying. Just later, Luis. Yeah, thanks for stopping in and chatting and hanging out. It's fun to kind of chat with you live. I know we've been back and forth in the comment section for months now, but yeah, no, enjoy the dinner and we'll chat with you later. We were supposed to have a special guest on with us this week. Um, his name's Doc. I did that collab video with Doc a couple weeks back. He's really smart. I really enjoy his insight on the whole kind of crypto space, what his thoughts are with things. So he's an actual Doc and got called into work, so he couldn't be here tonight. Well, let's go shill his channel anyway, even though he's not here, just because we're friends and he's cool and we're homies. Let's hold, please. We're going to shill Doc's channel, and I will wait for any additional questions to come in while I shill Doc's channel. And if we don't have any questions, then we can just we can stop it here. Let's see. Invest with Doc. All right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is Doc's channel. Just shy of 2K subs. So, you know, but he's like very, very recent. Like he's only started making stuff very, very recently. Honestly, fantastic content. You definitely should check him out. I'll be honest, like I watch his videos too. Like he's got a really he's got an interesting take on the market. Some of the things that he talks about and that he goes over, like there's certain things where I'm like, oh yeah, that is a good way to look at that. I'm going to do that. So you can see we here's the collab video that we did. Obviously did relatively well for him, but yeah, definitely subscribe to Doc. He's very good, very high quality content. We will have him on the channel here later on. Like I said, he got called into work because he's an actual Doc. So we will be doing that. Let's see what we got here. ICP best chance at marketing is $20 a coin. Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, I mean the price on ICP is down horrendous. Just we'll take a quick look at ICP, just so we can all commiserate a little bit together. But yeah, ICP price is absolutely down horrendous. Yeah, So here's this. And then if we go look at like 2024, we can see, we hit that $20 a coin, came all the way back down, hit 15, came all the way back down, not moving in the right direction from a price perspective, actually hitting lower lows and lower highs. We are in a super macro downtrend if we want to get technical about it. Feels terrible. Hopefully this changes, but I don't know. So we'll see. I know it's definitely not a it's not a it is not a what am I even trying to say? I don't even know, guys. It's not a popular pick to be buying ICP right now. I think that's fairly fair to say. But nobody ever made a whole bunch of money being a contrarian, going with the crowd. That's a great way to lose a lot of money, if you ask me. So this is my contrarian pick. ICP is going to do well at some point. Who knows? Let's see. It will give them hope again, and me, I'm a real. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of my thing. Is like price goes down, value stays the same. Sweet, value goes up, right? So yeah, no, yeah. I know. My brain's kind of cooked. It's been a long day. Worked all day and then came to do a live stream, hanging out with you guys. It's been fun. It's been a good time. But yeah, I will probably call it here. Oh yeah, let's see. I agree. Strong fundamentals, contrarian pick makes me 100%. I think, I'm sure you guys see all the haters. I'm gonna just shout a guy out real quick because it's so funny to me. I'm gonna shout out a hater on my channel. I just have to find the video first. ICP. It's my most recent ICP video. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, this one. Okay. Let's turn off the sound because you guys don't need to hear my voice twice. Okay. I gotta let the ads play. Actually, no, I don't. No, I can go all the way through. Where is he at? I absolutely love it. Where is it? Where is that at? But yeah, basically, I'll see if I can find him. But his name is literally ICP is dead. And I was like, bro. And it was a picture of an ICP tombstone. Oh, did he delete his comment? No. What a sucker. Come on, at least own your thoughts. That's super lame. All right, well, sorry guys, I couldn't find it, but I'll tell you the story anyway. So basically, this guy, his name is literally ICP is dead, and his profile picture is ICP on a tombstone. And I was just like, wow, this is wild. Like, imagine caring about anything enough. Like, I'm just gonna change my YouTube channel to, I don't know what, XRP is below average. That's what I'm gonna change. Like, no, I don't care. Like, it's just wild to me. I don't know. I can't imagine not liking. I also can't imagine like not liking something to actively go seek out that content and then comment about how I don't like that content. It's like, just don't watch it. But like, yeah, there's so many people who comment like ICP's trash, it's never going anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, whatever, man. Why are you watching the video? But whatever. Anyway, that's kind of my rant on hate comments, because I do get a lot of hate comments, particularly now that the market's down. I can always tell how the market's doing based on how mean people are in the comments. But yeah, that's just kind of my rant on comments for the day. So, all right, well, I think it's time to go. I've officially overstayed my welcome. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been almost 2 hours. It's been it's been quite the time. So thank you guys for thanks for chatting. Thanks for asking good questions, having good comments. And yeah, it's been a good time. Like, subscribe, do all the things that help me make more like videos and views and reach more people, get more subscribers, all that fun stuff. I really do appreciate it. I do appreciate all of your guys' time. And I mean, really, when I started doing YouTube, I expected to get a lot of like people who weren't particularly kind in the comments. And obviously I still do get those, but but I do get so many more like actually really interesting, insightful, good comments that I really do like. So my ICP address, I'll have to go find it. I'll go track it down. Happy go lucky. If you want to, yeah, I'm not gonna give out my address on live stream, but yeah, if you want to telegram me, maybe we can talk about that. But yeah, not trying to do that here in the full views of the public. But yeah, no, really fun time. Thanks for spending your guys' time with me. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, I'm here to hopefully provide as much value as I can. So yeah, if there's anything that you guys have comments, questions, suggestions, things that I should do, things I should not do, Steiner, I think it was you. Let me make sure. Yeah, Steiner's been helping me. He said the speed of my videos was too fast. Very much appreciate that. That is fantastic feedback. I love that. So yeah, I mean, like I really do. I super appreciate all you guys just helping me with all of the things that, to help make the channel better and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much again for all of your help, all that type of good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So peace out, guys.